gentlemen, may I have your attention?
Train's coming, y'all. Train's coming. It's time to climb that green line to the emerald city of Greenbelt, Maryland. It's time for the Putting the Mic podcast with your host, the man behind the Putting the Mic, Rick G, and the funny man, the truth teller, James Cooper, bringing you news, music, and more of that thought-provoking conversation. Here he is, the man behind that Putting the Mic, Rick G. Welcome, boys and girls, to the Putting the Mic podcast. This is your host, the man behind the Putting the Mic, Rick G. It is June 1st, 2020, for our long-awaited Season 2 premiere. I'm with my co-host, the funny man, the truth teller, Mr. James Cooper. What's going on, Coop?
I don't know, man. I'm trying to figure it out.
Man, I feel the same way, man. There's so much going on in the world right now, man. It's frustrating. It truly is frustrating just seeing all the black lives that have been snuffed out left and right, especially within the past month or so. You had Ahmaud Arbery, you had Breonna Taylor, most recently George Floyd, for no other reason other than being the wrong skin tone. And that's the truth of the matter. You know, I have to be real with it. I mean, it's just be honest, be truth. I mean, if they were of a lighter hue, those individuals I just named, amongst many others, would still be alive today. Or if they did commit a minor infraction, a minor crime, they would have been taken into custody. They'd probably given some bottled water, some McDonald's, and some other stuff to accommodate their weight before they go on to prison. I mean, it's just frustrating, man. It really is, man.
They would have been treated like humans.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
They would have got human treatment, but that's not the case for us.
Because they still don't see us as humans.
Yeah, they don't. They don't at all, man. So there's so much we're going to hop into on the show today, because our topic is going to be the language of the unheard and the deaf ear of white privilege. And white privilege, it's real, folks. I don't care what you tell me. White privilege is real. It really is. And true change is not going to happen until our white brothers and sisters understand the privilege they have and understand that the playing field is different for them than it is for us. Now, granted, I consider myself a successful black man.
You can be as successful as you want, but you still black.
That's true.
And to them, that right there still makes you less than.
That's true. And that's what's so crazy. Now, I tell folks, I still have a long ways to go. I'm not nowhere where I want to be by any stretch of the imagination. But imagine where I could be had I had the right skin tone. Now, granted, I'm not making an excuse, because I'm going to get mine and do what I have to do regardless. But we are. We're going to do what we have to do. You know, I did what I have to do to obtain my degrees, to obtain the things I wanted to obtain in life, regardless of the hurdles in front of me. But had I been white, a lot of those hurdles would not have been there. And that's the truth of the matter for a lot of folks. You know, so I'm just going to just say these three words, because they're very important. And they're on the screen in front of you, see them. Black Lives Matter. I'm going to say it again. Black Lives Matter.
Indeed.
So, before we dive into the show, we're going to dive in with a segment that folks have grown to love, and that's our Hell Nah moment of the week. So, we're going to do that segment, and we're going to kick it off to Bishop Bowinkle. who's going to get us started for our season 2. So Bishop Bowinkle, hit us for the one time.
Hell no, to the no, no, no. Hell to the no, hell to the no, to the no, no, no. Hell no, no, to the no, no. Hell to the no, no, to the no, 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 no. Hell to the no, no, to the no, no, no. Hell to the no, no.
Thank you, Bishop. So this week's Hell Now moment of the week goes to the celebrity in chief. As usual, I mean, it's not really surprising that our quote-unquote president kicks off our first Hell Now moment of the week of the season. I'm pretty sure he'll have it again. It's almost a guarantee. I think last season he had it
I don't know,
like 5-6 times.
At least every other show.
But then again, that's what they call the Trump derangement syndrome. I guess what they call it. The Trumpites.
You're deranged if you support him and think he's the most perfect person in the world.
True.
Because that's what they think.
That is definitely true.
They don't see any fault in him, and he doesn't accept any fault.
Oh yeah, he doesn't. And so the reason why we gave him it this week, because I mean, we can just say the way he handled the COVID crisis alone, because him making jokes about it, calling it a hoax, and you have over 100,000 people, Americans, die. And his thought is, I still did a good job. I'm like, my man, over 100,000 people died. And something he's yet to, I could be wrong, Coop, tell if I'm wrong, he has yet to give condolences for those who died.
All he said is he's sorry. He's sorry. He feels bad for all the people who's died, but he doesn't care.
Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't all, man.
All he cries about is how everything makes him look, how everything appears, his image. That's all he gives a shit about.
Yeah, it's crazy because even today, Mr. Trump decided to invoke the insurrection law. Obviously, everything going on with the riots, and he invoked a law that has not been invoked in 213 years, which is pretty much one step to martial law, because his tough guy talk, his whole Mr. Law and Order president, very reminiscent of George Wallace back in '68.
How is somebody talking about law and order and they break all kinds of laws?
I know. It's a trip. It's a trip. And this entire time, instead of having a message of unity, all right,
he's inciting these riots.
He's inciting riots. I mean, he's making comments like, if you loot, we'll start shooting. And on top of that, he's hiding in a bunker in the White House. At one point, they turned the lights off at the White House. Pretty much like, nobody home, go away. They turned the lights off at the White House because they were trying to get people to leave. And it just shows you the joke of a president this man is. He's not really a president. He's just a placeholder. A bad one at that.
And hopefully he can see now how he's not beloved, how he is hated by majority of the people in this country.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I mean, you have this guy who talks tough, and then today in his press conference, he spouted off how we would be tough, and he tried to push the government to, you guys need to dominate these streets, need to dominate these riots, and
that's the wrong type of language.
You can't.
That's gonna cause more trouble.
True. I mean, being a president is all about wording and all about posture, which the president, this person does not have whatsoever. And then after he spot off about being Mr. Law and Order, he left and answered no questions. Not one. He just left. I guess run back to his bunker.
Yeah, he gonna go hide again.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. And that's why it's so important to go vote. Now look, I know I'm a Bernie guy. I was a Kamala guy. We both were Kamala people in the beginning of this process. Last season we talked about the importance of voting, and obviously since the season break, a lot has happened, and now we have Joe Biden as the potential presumptive Democrat nominee. And more than likely tomorrow, during the primary elections in 10 states, I think he'll be put over the top tomorrow. I think he should be put over the top tomorrow to have the nomination sealed up. And with that being said, I know that Joe Biden ain't perfect. You know,
he definitely not.
I'm not a Joe Biden fan. Yes, he made a comment about, you know, if you don't know who to support, you ain't black. I get all that. And he is the architect of the 94 crime bill. And he was part of the 84 crack laws. All of that.
Yeah.
Okay? I get it. But there is much more at stake. Within 4 years of Donald Trump, look what has happened. Over 100,000 Americans this year alone dead. The economy falling. You know, we are a laughing stock of the world.
He claimed the world was laughing at us before, but as we can see from that summit of world leaders, they was laughing at him.
Oh yeah, no, they're laughing at us.
They was laughing at him.
Yeah, we are the joke because of this person in the White House. That's why it's so important that you go out and vote. And even more so, you know, encourage others. You know, I know a lot of folks are turned off and turned away, and they're saying, well, I'm going to hold my vote hostage. With this guy, you can't. You can't. We have to get this. That's why it's so important. Okay. And I keep saying it. Who his running mate, I'm watching it very closely. Who he selects as running mate. I hope it's either Val Demings of Florida, Kamala Harris, Stacey Abrams, my personal picks, you know, that he selects, you know, Elizabeth Warren, maybe, you know, but, you know, I hope that, you know, in the end, that we can get this man out the White House.
I mean, it'll be like the 2016 election when people said they claimed that they felt that Trump was the lesser of two evils. Now you see, he really wasn't.
Yeah, he was.
This time, Joe Biden is the lesser of two evils.
He is. I know. Look, I get that we're tired of voting the lesser of two evils. Why can't we just vote the right candidate? And you know, I wish I had the answer of when that's going to come. But, you know, I mean, right now, with the task that's at hand, the mission is at hand. We have to get Donald Trump out the White House. We have to. Now, granted, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Whoever Joe Biden picks as his running mate literally will be the nominee in 4 years. Because there's no secret that Joe Biden will be well over or close to 80 or over his 80s at the end of his first term. So I don't see Joe Biden running for re-election in 4 years. I see him just being a transitional president, kind of passing the torch to the new generation of leadership. I see that. You know, so it's definitely important that we have to get this guy out. And that's the reason why, Donald Trump, you are the hell nah moment of the week. Now, with everything going on, there's so much. We have a segment that we brought back this season. I know a lot of you folks love and kind of inbox suggestions for different songs. We have our musical therapy moment of the week. And so I wanted to bring a little positivity, a strong vibe, a powerful vibe for our musical therapy moment to kick off season 2. And that is the sounds of Mr. Donny Hathaway. And we're going to play a song that I hope you enjoy. Take it from me, someday we'll all be free, by none other than Mr. Donny Hathaway.
Hang on to
someday we'll all be free. And that's the fitting song, because as we go into our main discussion this evening, and I just want to thank those who are joining us on Anchor, our new platform that we have joined and a part of. We're thankful that you're having the Plug Night Podcast on your platform, and we look forward to a long relationship through Anchor and Spotify. So we're going to be talking about the language of the unheard. And this is something that I believe is something we have to talk about in the midst of things that happened with George Floyd and him being murdered in cold blood. Because all you folks, if you don't know, today they had an independent autopsy done. And at first, the main autopsy said it was some prior conditions, heart failure, which
and possible
to me, that's
intoxication.
just it's just crazy to even come to that conclusion of why he died. And they discovered that it was death from asphyxiation. And to me, this needs to be taken from third degree to first degree murder, because there was an intent to kill here. And it's just amazing to me how white privilege plays so much into what's going on. And unfortunately, a lot of folks can't see it. They don't understand it. They're blind to it, want to stay blind to it, or keep a deaf ear to it. Dr. King said that riots are the language of the unheard. Folks have gone unheard for so long, and they're upset. They're mad. Now, do I agree with burning buildings and businesses? No, I don't. I feel there's always a better way to do it. But do I understand the rage? Yes,
Indeed.
I understand the rage. Because George Floyd could have easily been me. He could have been one of my nephews. He could have been Coop. He could have been one of Coop's sons. Or one of you that are listening to this broadcast. And there's so many reasons people say, well, there's a stockpile of issues here. You have Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Tamir Rice, Eric Garner, Botham Jean, Sandra Bland, Freddie Gray. That's just a small sample size of those who lost their lives for no other reason than for being the wrong skin tone. And folks are fed up. They're tired of it. And I understand why. And you have those who thankfully, because of social media and the age of the telephone, the camera phone, you got folks like Christian Cooper who can't even bird watch while being black in New York, in Central Park, bird watching. And a white woman, and we've done a show on this before, how the racist white woman and the danger they have caused throughout history. And trust me, we're going to revisit that again, because I don't see it stopping no time soon. This is a recurring revolving door that needs to cease. And Christian Cooper could have been another George Floyd. Literally could have been him. And they were only days apart from each other when situations happened. She used her whiteness, white privilege. Help. There's a black man verbally assaulting me. That's just code for there's a black man, come get him. It's frustrating to me, Coop. I mean, what are your thoughts on this, man? I mean, what are your thoughts on this whole thing? Because it kills me that folks feel like the white privilege is not a thing.
Well, anybody who's seen this video should understand that white people do know that they have the privilege. They know that. Okay? She displayed it right there. She knew that if she mentioned the fact that there was a black man, or what she said an African American male that was threatening her, okay, endangering her life, she knew that he would be handled, okay, because that's what she wanted, only because he challenged her.
Yeah.
She was out there walking her dog without the leash on in the park, in a section of the park where apparently there are signs posted saying that your dogs should be on a leash, okay? And this guy's bird watching. So if he's bird watching, dogs running around is going to scare the birds. The birds are going to go flying everywhere. If he's bird watching, that means he's trying to get pictures of them, maybe some video, and that dog's disturbing him. So he saw the lady without her dog on a leash and mentioned, hey, listen, you're supposed to have your dog on a leash. And because he was black, she didn't like that. She didn't like being challenged by that black man. It enraged her. And it made her go to what a lot of white women in history have done. Not all of them, just a good amount. Okay, and they have caused serious damage by blaming black men for things. Okay, luckily this did not turn into something tragic or horrific. You know, like the Tulsa, Oklahoma race riots, where it was claimed that a young black male attacked a young white girl in an elevator. It never happened. But what did it lead to? It led to white men storming a black community, burning down the churches. These riots that you guys are complaining about, you started them.
Yep.
Okay? But you burned down these black churches, these black houses, black hospitals. Okay? And who joined in? You had firemen in there. You had police officers. You had the Klan. Okay? Everybody attacked this black community. Okay? Because a white young lady apparently or allegedly was accosted by a black male. But it never really happened. It never happened. He never touched her.
Yep. And you know the same thing with Emmett Till.
Emmett Till.
George Steiny. You know, George Steiny was the youngest child, the youngest child to die in the electric chair.
Yep.
A child, because he was blamed for killing a young white girl. He was a kid, a child, and he faced a death penalty. The electric chair. He wasn't a grown man. He was a child. And again, it just shows you the white privilege, you know, and those who like to scream, well, all lives matter. All lives matter.
If all lives matter, prove it.
Please, prove it to me.
Show us that ours do
because you haven't
matter
proved
to
it yet. You haven't proved it yet. And all those folks complaining about the riots or Dr. King, you know, because you know what's funny to me, and I get on a lot of the Trumpers who like to throw Dr. King out there. They always love to pull the I Have a Dream Dr. King. They love that King. They like to talk about the I Have a Dream Dr. King and all that. But they don't realize the other King that in his latter years understood a lot of things that he was like, I think I possibly led my people. He said, I think I've led my folks down the wrong path in a sense, because he realized in his latter years
You can't always turn the other cheek.
you can't. He learned that. He started to see that, and unfortunately he lost his life. So the person y'all talk about so much, y'all killed him too, because he was black,
And he was inspiring other black people
to
stand up.
Yes, I encourage folks to go to YouTube. There are speeches on there with Dr. King. He talks about the Vietnam War. He talks about, you know, how America had wrote a check to black Americans that came back insufficient funds. Please go look that speech up, because that Dr. King, we don't talk about enough. We always stuck on the I Have a Dream speech. That's great. That's nice. But I beg you to go on YouTube and look those speeches up, and you will learn the things that Dr. King kind of, you know, came to understanding in his latter days. And unfortunately, with that understanding, and started to really speak in the truth more, it cost him his life. Because he wasn't the happy-go-lucky, let's turn the cheek, let's take the beatings, let's, peaceful hold hands, kumbaya. No, he started thinking more like Malcolm X.
Yeah, and that's because even though they marched peacefully, what happened? They got bricks thrown at them.
Yes.
They got dogs sicked on them.
Correct.
Okay, by white people.
Yes.
You started the riots.
Yes.
And now, when we get angry and we want to toss shit, what happens? You attack us. You say, "Oh my God, you're spoiling the message." No, we're not really spoiling the message. All right, we're just making you hear us. Okay, we're speaking louder. Okay, because sitting there in silence and letting you throw bricks at us, it doesn't make you feel bad for us at all, because you don't stop it. Yeah. You don't stop it.
I just wish you would hear us. And I understand you have look, you have a deaf ear because of white privilege. I get it. You don't hear us. And, unfortunately, you don't want to hear us. A lot of folks don't want to hear us. Now, I'm not saying all white people are bad. We're not saying all white people are bad. So please, the disclaimer, for anyone who gets upset, I am not saying that all white folks are bad.
Because they're not.
They're not. There are a lot of good white people out there that are on the front lines. As a matter of fact, I was talking with two friends of mine who are Caucasian. I was explaining to them because they didn't even know the story. You had, a woman, and her name strikes me, that literally she left her family. She was in the Northeast during the summer, the Edmund Pettus Bridge. She marched on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. She left her husband, left her child, and she marched. And later that night, she was killed. She was killed by white men because she was a quote-unquote nigger lover. So trust me, I understand. You have folks who have lost their lives as well that are non-black in the struggle. Don't get me wrong. We understand that. We appreciate you. We love you. But what we're talking about is those who don't recognize the privilege they have. And change is not going to come until folks recognize the privilege they have. And understand it from our eyes. And understand, that, in the words of, Ben Franklin, and he said it perfectly, that justice will never come, I'm paraphrasing, will never come unless those that are unaffected become just as outraged as those who are.
That's truth.
So we're asking you, you know it's wrong, but unfortunately a lot of those know it's wrong and they don't care. Because to some folks we are still inferior.
And it may not just be that they don't care. It may be some that actually care but are too afraid to express it.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to be ridiculed by their peers, their colleagues. They don't want it. They're afraid of it. But again, don't ask us to be calm, be cool, when you won't even help stand up for the injustices that we face.
Yeah. The riot and the looting, these are things that you did first.
You started it. You celebrate one of them. You call it a tea party, the Boston Tea Party. That was a riot.
It was.
You burning ships and tossing tea into a harbor. You tearing up shit.
And before even that, I can go back even further.
Shit.
You looted a country. You went to Africa
and took people.
And you took people. I don't know what I mean. I could be wrong, but that's thieving. That's stealing. You stole people from their home and made them work for free and build this country for free.
Laid the foundation
of America.
And what do we get for it?
and I tell you exactly what we get for it. We get boat bogus phone calls from folks who are scared that their whiteness is being threatened because we want to barbecue in the park, because a little girl wants to sell bottled water, because a man wants to bird watch, because a black man wants to jog in a predominantly white neighborhood. You know, we get bogus phone calls from cops, or we either get a bullet in the back, a bullet in the head. A kid went to a store to get an Arizona iced tea and a bag of Skittles. Because he's out in the hood, he looked like a quote unquote goon, like a criminal. You know, because he wasn't the right skin tone. Tell me what white kid faces that same fear?
None at all.
None. At all. None at all. So, you know, we have to get over this thing. It's like white privilege is just some myth. It's real. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you saw, there's a video of a gentleman who was attacking a police. He came charging at a white police officer with a knife, saying, "Get back, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna kill you, get back, get back." And the entire time, this officer is trying to reason with this man to put the knife down. Now, let this person be black, or let him be me, you and me. We would have been dead.
There wouldn't have been no reason.
As soon as we stepped out the door with a knife.
There wouldn't have been no reason.
No reason whatsoever.
And then it shot him 10, 20 times.
Yeah, and it would have been overkill. One bullet probably killed me, but you would have put 3 or 4, 5, 6 more bullets in me just to make sure I was dead.
It's like when they shot that black caregiver to that mentally disabled kid.
Yeah.
He was laying
on the ground
with his hands in the air and still got shot in the leg. I mean, what did you fear by a man laying on his back with his hands in the air, unarmed? You can plainly see him, and you still shoot him.
It's sad, man. It's sad. It is frustrating. It's frustrating to be a black male or woman in America during this time, because you know what kills me? Folks always say, well, you know, white privilege is a myth. You got folks like Candace Owens that irritate me, and she's black, and I'll use that term very loosely, but she's black.
No, she's black.
Yeah.
She's black. She just doesn't want to accept it.
Yeah.
So that's why she attacks other black people to impress her white friends.
Yeah.
To impress her white colleagues, people that she wants to be accepted by them. So she does everything she can to belittle people that look like her.
No, that's true.
So that she can be accepted.
Hey, you know, she actually got called out by black conservatives.
Yep.
Called her out for her nonsense. Because, you know, look, we have no problem with Republicans and conservatives. Look, black folks are not a monolith.
I'm more conservative than I am liberal.
Black folks are not a monolith at all. We're all shapes, sizes, political affiliations, but what Trumpism is something totally different. Trumpism is nothing but just another version of white supremacy.
Yeah, it's like white nationalist light. You know what I mean? It's not all the way there.
Yeah.
Okay? It's hanging just on the outskirts, trying to play almost the middle, just so that it can slide under the radar. That's it. But we see it. We know what it is. I mean, he purposefully says things to trigger white nationalists, white supremacists, to get them angry and raged, so that they come out and they vote for him.
True. It is so true. I mean? It is, and it just and folks who sit there and say, well, you know, he's a straight shooter. I'm like, you know,
he's not a. When has he even been a straight shooter? A straight shooter tells it like it is.
Yes. And
they don't lie. This dude makes up stories. I mean, every time you turn around, he's telling a lie. How many? What they say? What? I don't know how many thousands of lies has he told that have been fact checked. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean,
look, I'm gonna tell you like this: had Barack Obama still, if Barack Obama, again, white privilege, 101, if Barack Obama had done half the crap that Donald Trump has done, he would have been gone.
Oh yeah.
He would have been bounced out the White House so fast.
He wouldn't have finished that first year.
He wouldn't have. You know,
listen, if you really think that there isn't a problem with blacks in America, you know, when it comes to these white conservative politicians and these white conservatives in the South who really have not had an experience with black Americans, okay? Just take a look at some of the things these white conservatives have said. Steve King of Iowa said he can't think of a single thing that black people have contributed to American society. I mean, he's crazy.
And that's it's crazy because we built this country. We built it.
I mean,
that's what we did.
Scientific achievements.
Yes.
I mean, look, Jesus Christ.
All the stuff that black folks have invented that we couldn't patent because we were black. Do you really think Thomas Edison,
the light bulb,
do you really think that Thomas Edison is the father of a light bulb? No, he's not.
The patent, the very first patent for the personal computer was a black man.
Yes. Yeah, but
who designed the plant?
Mm-hmm.
George Washington Carver. That's why it's called a plant. He was an agriculturalist. Mm-hmm. So it's called the plant. I mean, he discovered how to make plastic out of soy. Synthetic plastic out of soy. You know what I'm saying? You don't hear that when you go to school. When they tell you that George Washington Carver did. He discovered the peanut.
Yeah.
Now we got peanut butter. That's what they tell you.
yeah.
They don't tell you about the plant.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he helped Henry Ford produce those Model Ts because of his plant design.
Yeah, and it's frustrating. It's stuff we don't talk about enough, and unfortunately, a lot of our youth today are not learning these things.
They won't teach it,
and they're not going to teach it.
They don't want to. The funny thing is they complain because we have a Black History Month, and they say, well, we don't have White History Month. That's because you got white history every day. Yeah. There's monuments all over. You even got monuments of the losers of the Civil War.
Yeah.
And then they say, well, you can't take those down. You're erasing history. But yet you allow Texas to have McGraw-Hill change textbooks and call African slaves migrant workers. That's okay? That's okay. I mean, the Tulsa race riots, okay? White people going into Greenwood community where blacks live and destroying it. It wasn't acknowledged until 2008, 2009?
Yeah.
They had hidden it. It's okay to hide all that stuff. It's okay to hide black history. It's okay not to teach it. You want to whitewash everything. But as soon as somebody wants to take down a Civil War statue that wasn't put up right after the Civil War, it was put up during the Civil Rights Movement just to intimidate blacks. I mean, come on. You're okay with keeping those because, oh no, they did great. They made great contributions to this company. What? I mean, to this country. What? Succeeding?
Yeah, it's frustrating, man. It really is.
Seceding from the country. Trying to secede from the country is not an accomplishment.
It's not. It's really not. You know. And again, unfortunately, to the cries of injustice from Black Americans, those white supremacists, white racists, turn a deaf ear to our cries and have done so for many, many years and decades. It doesn't matter what side they are, Republican, Democrat. I mean, for example, the woman Amy Cooper, I believe, the Central Park doghorn, who called the cops on Christian Cooper, she was a liberal Hillary Clinton supporter. So, like I've said before, this transcends politics.
True.
This thing's bigger than Nino Brown, as they say. It really is. It's bigger than Nino Brown. It's huge. You know, it's a pattern of systemic racism in this country that makes us have to make us feel as a black folk that we're inferior. You know, don't challenge, because if you do, I'll call, you know, back in the day, you know, I'll call the folks that'll come, we'll make you slaves again, or I'll call the cops, we'll have you hanged, and all the other stuff. You know, so they're figuring, you know, we can intimidate black folk into doing what we say. Oh, I don't want you to barbecue. You can't do that. You can't walk. You can't sell water. You can't jog. Botham Jean and Breonna Taylor
In their own home.
in their own home. In their own home. They were nowhere. They were in their property that they pay rent for or mortgage for, and they were killed in their own property.
And Botham Jean not doing nothing but chilling.
Yes.
Got to do a crap so you catch a breeze. This lady comes in. She's a cop. She's like, oh no, somebody's in my house. But there were so many different things about his apartment and hers that anyone walking in the house, I mean, you would know something's different. I mean, he had a doormat, she didn't.
Yeah.
You know, the tables in the house. Like, how do you mistake that? I've never mistakenly gone to someone else's door when I'm trying to go to mine. That's crazy. I work a lot of hours too. I've never been that tired where I walk up to the wrong door trying to stick the key in. You know? But she goes in there and sees this guy, and he's not doing nothing wrong. He's chilling, eating a bowl of ice cream. He didn't even, how you look threatening eating a bowl of ice cream?
Yeah.
Stop, don't move. In my house?
Yeah.
In my house?
And then the privilege of this goes to the fact that Emma Geiger, who killed Botham Jean, you know, got a pat on the wrist, light sentence, and she probably is going to serve at best 5 years, if that. Probably serve 3, maybe, and got probation. You know, let that been a black officer that did that, they probably would have did 25, 30 years to life.
Oh, he's gonna do the full sentence.
And probably get the max
He's gonna do
sentence.
that full sentence.
You know, again, privilege. And it's something that we're afraid to talk about. We need to continue to talk about white privilege in this country and the virus that it is, because white privilege is a virus by itself.
I mean, white privilege is so good. A white boy in college could rape an unconscious girl and still not do time.
Yeah.
Because the judge feels sympathy for him.
Mm-hmm. And
He could do so well. He could be so successful.
he can become a Supreme Court judge.
Yeah, he could be so successful, become a Supreme Court judge in his future. You know, Brett Kavanaugh. But you know,
it's amazing.
You can just do whatever you want. And how's that not privilege? Like, what are you saying that I'm not?
Yeah. I mean, for example, you have those folks who, you know, I was with the COVID-19, and you have white prisoners, a lot of white prisoners, big names that were getting released. They're doing their time from home because of COVID. But you have folks like, you know, Mayor Kirkpatrick out of Detroit that's been denied release from prison for his time. You know, and it's frustrating. You know, give us an even playing field. That's all we ask. Look, just all we asking for is equality. You know, someone made a good point, and I was reading it earlier today. You're lucky we just want equality and not revenge.
That's it.
We just want equality. We don't want revenge, because we want revenge, it'll really be some smoke in the city. I mean, it really would. Black folks just want equality.
That's it.
What is the problem with equality?
That's it.
Can we be on the same playing field?
And they always say, well, you have the same opportunities. Yeah, but ours are a little harder. I mean, look at public school. I went to elementary school, middle school, and high school in predominantly black areas and in minority areas. And, you know, after 3rd grade, we didn't have enough textbooks to take home. So they make copies of pages out of a book that people take home. That same thing is still happening with my son. Okay, with my son, 30 years later. When you can go look at Montgomery County, Carroll County, Harford County, places where there are more white children, they have books to take home. Howard County, they can take home books. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy.
It is just, it's sad, man.
It's not equal. It's not equal.
It's not.
So they have it a lot easier and don't want to acknowledge it. Just acknowledge it that it is a little easier. You know what I'm saying? We know it's a lot, but just acknowledge that it's a little bit. Even if you do that, that would mean you at least understand that we're pushing a dump truck full up the hill, okay? And you guys are sitting in the truck going downhill in neutral, just cruising.
Can I just say this? And I just want for all our Caucasian brothers and sisters who are listening, and just see it through our eyes. Imagine serving 400 plus years of slavery, and then you're kicked off a plantation and you're told to go out. You're on your own now. You can't. Okay, we can't legally have you no more. So we have no land. We don't own nothing.
Still not
we
able
can't
to.
vote. Still can't own anything. And then we're forced to come back and become sharecroppers in a sense. Pretty much working slave wages in a sense. We're going to sharecrop. It's slavery. Light.
That's all it is.
It's slavery light. That's all sharecropping was. And then
you make the most outrageous laws so that you could easily put us back in, like vagrancy laws. Or you just arrest a black person just for being offensive to a white person. So now you got him back in the field, and he can't get out because that's what the law says. You can't be a slave unless it's to pay off a debt to society.
And another thing, if you fast forward and then you try to separate segregation, you had those laws, segregation laws, and so black folks said fine. We'll separate. We'll go create our own community. Banks, churches, theaters. And what do you go do? You bomb it.
Burn them down.
You burn it down. Because we're not allowed to be equal.
Not at all.
We were being separate as you wanted. And we were equal. We were making money. We were creating currency. Banks, churches, businesses. All black owned.
But because it was happening during your depression,
you were upset.
You were upset.
How can those niggers live comfortable and I'm over here suffering? You tell us to pull ourselves up by our own bootstraps.
And we did.
And you said that when we had no boots or no straps. And somehow we managed to still achieve, regardless, without the hurdles. We ran a marathon race. We're still getting there, but in so many ways, even you still try to trip us up, we're still running it and keeping up with you. But every time we try to get a little bit there, you trip us up in so many different ways because of your jealousy, because you still have that mindset. A lot of those supremacists have that mindset that no, you're not human, you're subhuman. And it's just frustrating. It is. So we just ask you to get the ears fixed, get the ears checked, and hear us. Hear us. Hear us. So with that being said, we thank you for tuning in. Definitely we have a long season in front of us. So we definitely actually come back. And as we always say, we fed you some laughs, we fed you some good music, and we fed you some thought-provoking conversation. And all we ask is that you do the dishes. So love each other, and we will see you on the other side. You folks have a good day, a good night, and a good evening. And we'll see you there.